Okay, can everyone hear me? I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Perfect. Good deal. So this open huddle is going to be done a little bit differently than our past, not too much, but then towards the end of the open huddle, we're going to kind of announce kind of a new format coming in our next open huddle, which will be in 3 weeks. So really, I'm just going to kind of roll through a lot of what's in here pretty quickly and get to any Q&A sessions here at the end. And then, yeah, towards the end, I'll kind of announce what we've got, what to expect for open huddles in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and get going. So here's the things we're going to be talking about today. Go over just a few FAQs and kind of what Springboard is. Again, we're just going to go through that very quickly so that we can get to the stuff that you guys care about. So I'll go ahead and start. But if there are any new folks or folks thinking about what is Springboard or should I start a VR arcade, just quickly, what our product is that we actually started out as a VR arcade ourselves and realized that there was a major need for software that did not exist. And trying to get your customers to use the Steam VR dashboard, we quickly realized was an impossibility unless we wanted to have like a single employee per station. So we built like an in-headset Netflix style environment for folks to pick and choose their own content. We built a web panel for you to remotely view all of your stations from one device and see if there's people calling for help or what game they're playing, how much time they have left. We have the booking, so customers can book time in advance, and then we have commercial licensing. So you have to license content in a VR arcade to operate legally, and we have over 200 titles on the platform, all in a pay-per-minute model for you to do just that. Okay, so just going to quickly run through these FAQs. These were the top 4 most, I guess, common tickets that we received in the month of July. So I'm just going to run through these real quick. These are also in your handout that we have. So if you go to the handout section here in big marker, you can go there, download this PDF, and get access to those links. But I'll just quickly run through these, and if you want more information, please go ahead and get the handout, and so you can kind of go straight to those links and see more information. But how long does it take to receive Steam keys? So if you want to opt into a commercial license through Springboard, what we do is we distribute Steam keys to you, so you can download those games for free. And then as soon as you do that, you will then be opted into a commercial license based on however much that content costs. So 3 cents a minute, 6 cents, whatever. Sometime, within the next 3 or so months, we will actually be going away from Steam, and Springboard will have our own distribution, but not too much to announce on that today, but definitely be expecting that sometime in 2018. So other questions on, well, I've got these Steam keys, now what do I do? We actually have to go to your Steam account and exchange them there. There's an article if you need more information. And then how do I add games to stations? And so we are also redoing this here in the next couple months, and we admit that the process to add games to stations is not very friendly, and it's very time consuming, and you have to go to each individual station and add your games, but that's really how you do it. You go into your station settings, and you have to individually add games, whatever games that are downloaded on your computer, to your Springboard account for your customers to then view. And so that's how that is done. And then why is my station monitor not showing experiences? Well, that is likely because you haven't fully set up all your settings that we required for you for that experience. So when you go into your locations in your Springboard account, and then you click on experiences, there's certain settings that are required for that experience to then show up in the monitor. And the knowledge base article there shows you exactly which ones that you're probably missing. So if you're having those issues, feel free. And as always, our knowledge base is continuing to evolve and add more. So always feel free to check out that. Okay, so now the interesting stuff. Just so you all know, 2.0 will no longer be available in 6 days or 7 days, in 1 week. Okay, so if you have not already migrated, please do so now, because starting August 1st, if you haven't, your customers, you won't have Springboard. So you'll need to download this. It's actually very, very easy. Again, just download the handouts that's attached and view that migration guide. It's in our knowledge base. Another announcement is that July 29th at 10 p.m. PST, which I believe is a Monday, which we kind of decided there's really shouldn't be anyone open around that time. Maybe there are a couple, and if there is, really apologize. We just had to pick a time that we thought was best for everybody. This is the time we chose. We are switching from Amazon servers to Google, okay? And this is going to be a huge improvement for us on the server side. Google automates a lot of things for us that Amazon did not, and a lot of other things that will ensure that it's going to reduce the amount of downtime that we do ever have in the future. Okay, the third point, fixing bugs just got a lot easier. So what I mean by this is actually really, really huge. We recently just introduced a new tool called Stackdriver, which basically allows us to kind of, instead of you all in the past, you had to send us your logs manually, which was a major hassle for you guys. We now have the ability to just view those logs at live, and anytime an error comes up, we know about it. So now we have the ability to know about bugs at your location or at one of your stations at your location, and we'll generally know about them even before you do. So this gives us the ability to be proactive in seeing, okay, this station had this really weird issue. This is what it is. This is what it's reporting. Okay, let's go in and fix that thing. So hopefully the goal with this is that you're not having to report so much stuff to us because we know what's happening and we're fixing it proactively.
Yeah, I'll give one quick example. Today we noticed that one of our stations that was running our desktop client was running out of space, and that was causing a few issues with the launcher. They didn't make a ticket with us, but we were able to reach out and be like, hey, looks like you're running out of disk space. You might want to take a look at that. And we're proactively solving the problem before the client even knew it was a problem, which was really, really awesome for us.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge, huge, huge win for everyone because we know no one likes bugs. So, and then lastly, the 150 plus of you participated in our arcade survey. That we are releasing kind of the version 1 of the results soon. But just kind of a quick sneak peek, some really interesting stats. There was a certain section of arcades that reported generating a generous profit month over month. And so these 3 points I just thought were very interesting. So out of that group, 81% of those arcades do not offer a membership program. Now, this doesn't mean it's bad to do it or you shouldn't do it, but it's just interesting to read the data just as it is. 61% of those arcades as well offer food and beverage. So that's not, unfortunately, that's not something that you can use, or it's not, I don't know, really pronounced data or something that's very determined, but it's just interesting that 61% of them do. So if you don't, it might be something you should consider. And then I believe, just kind of a sub note for that one, the vast majority of those 61% said that offering food and beverage is extremely important for their business. So anyway, and then out of those profitable arcades, only 11% are in the mall. Now, again, this doesn't mean that you can't operate a profitable arcade in a mall, but it is just interesting what the data shows here. And again, so we're going to be releasing this and way, way, way more information here soon. So stay tuned. Okay, so big time feature that we just released today, and it's actually kind of being automatically deployed on many of your guys' stations as we speak. But we now have something called safety mode. And I know you guys have, all of you or most of you have suffered from downtime here in the recent months. And again, we too apologize for that. We had to do something about it. And so obviously the one thing that I mentioned before, we're switching to Google servers, which is going to help immensely. But what this safety mode feature does is if we do ever have downtime in the future, your customer's playtime will not be interrupted. Okay, so they can still continue to play games and switch games and do everything like that. There will be some functionality that won't be available. This is kind of what the launcher screen will look like with if the safety mode does enable, which it will automatically. If there's a downtime, you don't have to do anything. So they won't be able to do filters. They won't be able to call for help. They won't be able to see how much time they have remaining. But the most important thing is that they will still be able to manage their own experience by themselves, switch games, get in and out of games, and there will be no break in their session. So it's really a big time win for this. There's also a little bit more here I'll show for you guys on the monitor side of things, which I believe this part of the feature has not quite been deployed yet. It will be in the next week or so.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that this is kind of what your monitor station screen will look like during a safety mode fallback event. And so to actually, Jamie, do you want to kind of explain, how the monitor works?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the approach that we took is that we actually will. Let me kind of go a little bit back into history a little bit. So we, for a long time, wanted to provide and have been looking to provide a full suite of offline tools. And with that in mind, we have built this monitor months and months and months ago by sort of caching a lot of local data. And so basically what safety mode will do is it'll build upon what the foundation we've already built to, provide offline features in the future. And basically we'll just give you a snapshot of exactly what your arcade looked like when it went down. And so we know a lot of information about the state of your arcade without having to talk to the internet or anything like that. We're not doing updates, but you at least can see exactly what's going on. So things like counters that we're counting down, those will continue. Things like reservations in the future, checking in, all of that will still be available, but you won't be able to make new reservations and you won't be able to do things like deletion because that will require an actual internet connection to make sure that the state is synced between. So this is kind of the first step into a full suite of offline features that we hope to provide in the future. But for now, this is more or less, you can kind of think of it is what is the last known state of my arcade, like what sessions are currently playing, how long are they going to be going on for, are there any conflicts? All of that stuff will still be available to you in safety mode because we know that locally on your actual computer or phone or tablet that you're running the monitor on. And from there, you can sort of take small actions. And then once internet is restored, then you'll be able to do things like extend time and make new reservations, delete reservations, things like that.
Yep. And we will have a full knowledge base article on how the feature works and how it's going to affect your operations and what to expect.
Yeah, it's also important to note that when you enter into safety mode and when you exit safety mode, it gives you very clear, actionable instructions of what exactly is going on and how you should be responding to something like this. So for example, when you get out of safety mode, we've restored service, everything's back to normal. It'll say, hey, if anybody came in, started time, make sure that you go in there, make the reservations, extend the time, whatever actually happened while safety mode was on, it gives you instructions of how to sort of restore things back to normal.
Yeah. So if you have any questions on this, please feel free to go ahead and add it to the Q&A part of Big Marker here. But I'm going to go ahead and continue on. This next section, it's some information that maybe a lot of you already know or have seen before. So I'm just going to go through it here very quickly. And if you have any questions, of course, please feel free to ask. But if you didn't know, we released a new way to kind of lay out your launcher environment. There's all this information here is again in the handout if you want it on how exactly to set it up. But the big things is well, I'll just go ahead and show you with images. We have first I'll say we have four tags to define how you lay out your launcher. Okay, so that's trending, new releases, difficulty, and genres. And you can turn any of these on or off at your leisure, however you want to do it. So this image here shows you if all 4 are toggled on. If you were to scroll down, you would eventually hit the genre, a row of just a genre, like action or strategy or whatever, okay? Some people like to have these tags, others don't. And if you don't, you can turn all of them off, or you can mix and match whatever you want. But this is just an example of having all 4 of those toggles off. So you just have your content laid out. And it would be in order of your game section in Springboard. So this is how that would be. So it's very customizable. I know a lot of people wanted this, and gives you a lot of flexibility for how you set this up. And this is kind of in your experience tab of your account. Here are the 4 tags that we're talking about. And so in this example, all 4 are turned on. So turn those off, or whatever you want to do. It's kind of all up to you. One other quick thing is here in the next, and these are, oh, sorry, I should mention these features moving forward, you should expect to see them within the next 30 days. So a lot of you have requested, hey, when I add more time to a station, I'd love for my customer to actually get a little notification. So this is kind of what it'll look like. Let's say you add 30 minutes to a station, they're going to get a little notification saying, hey, 30 minutes were added to your station. Also here in the next 30 days, we're going to release some really, really great sound and ambient music in the background of the launcher environment, and just kind of audio cues when you hover or those sorts of things in the launcher. So expect to see that very soon. Lastly, or not lastly, so here's a big one. A lot of you wanted more flexibility and customization on discounts and coupons. That is coming here very soon. I mean, so you can just look at some of the examples, but you know, if you want to offer discounts for, you know, Mondays and Wednesdays, or whatever you never have customers come in on Tuesday, so maybe you want to do a thing where 50% off on Tuesdays, or 50% off after 8 p.m. or if you want to. Anyway, there's just a lot of things that this kind of gives you the ability to customize all your discounts and coupons, and when does it start, when does it end, and all of that. So
basically the best way that I can sum it up is that if you can dream up a certain promotion, you'll be able to do it using a combination of the tools that we give you for both discounts and for coupons. So collectively, if you ever hear us refer to promos, we refer to both coupons and discounts. And you'll be able to do any sort of variable in terms of stations, people, length of time, hours, dates. You can do days of weeks. You can do just for these 2 days. So it's a lot more powerful. And using a combination of these tools, I think we can hit pretty much every use case.
Yep. So excited to release that. And this one's kind of hand in hand, but just more flexibility on your hours of operation. So a lot of you guys have been requesting this of, hey, I need to tell my customers to not be able to book on X day. So now you will, well, very soon you will be able to do this. So should not be an issue for you all here moving forward. And you can do the same for, hey, I actually want to stay open 3 hours later on this day because I'm having some special event. You can do that as well. So lots of flexibility there. Okay, so I know a lot of you have been to these open huddles, to most of these open huddles up to this point, and we realized that we kind of need to change it up a little bit. We noticed that a lot of well, I'll just say this. What we're doing is we are splitting our future open huddles into 2 different categories, and you're welcome to go to both of them if you want to. But for instance, the very beginning of this open huddle, I went over what is Springboard, who we are, what do we do, kind of some FAQs and those sorts of stuff. Well, the reality is probably the majority of you don't care about that because you've heard it a million times before. You don't have these FAQs, and it's just a waste of time for you. So what we're doing in the future is we're saying we're going to have a new and prospective operator open huddle, and we're going to have a veteran only open huddle. So for the new and prospective, basically it's going to be a lot of just basic information, going to go over best practices on how to run your arcade, some content, questions about what content, why should I use it, why is it good for customers. And then we're also going to have special guests. So we're going to bring in veteran arcade owners or industry experts to come in and kind of share their experience on how they have run an arcade and how they've had success, and give you an opportunity to ask these successful arcade operators as many questions as you want. Of course, we're going to go over our future roadmap and those sorts of things for Springboard, but it is geared mostly towards new or prospective operators. But with the special guests, it really can, in a way, be open to anyone, because they're going to have insights and stuff that you probably want to tune into. Okay, so for the veteran operators, what we're saying here is these are actually exclusive to Springboard customers only. And there's just going to be a lot more involved with these. Obviously, going to give you an opportunity to tell us, what you think the product needs to improve or where we need to go in the future. We're going to be talking to a lot of different content and peripheral, maybe even some free roam content folks that will have different opportunities for you guys to potentially get into some beta access stuff. And then we'll have industry expert special guests to talk about specific things that will be relevant to you, because we know a handful of arcade owners who have mastered bringing in customers during the weekday, or folks who've been in the VR scene for a couple decades, kind of just sharing their knowledge, their insights about VR, what's coming next, and should just be really, really fun Q&A time, and asking them questions and giving you guys an opportunity to learn from folks who have gone before you and know kind of what to expect for VR and how you can continue to stay successful or be successful moving forward. So we're splitting those up for the future. And I believe the next one actually is 3 weeks from now, which I believe is August 15th. That's going to be for new and perspective. And then the veteran operators is going to be 3 weeks after that, so September 5th. So we'll give you, of course, more information on those as they come out. Okay, so again, this was really quick. I intended it that way so we could dive into any Q&As, but just want to let you guys know, like, our new formats for these are going to be much quicker when I get through information, and we want these to be as much value to you all as possible. We do want to, of course, be open with you on our roadmap and what are we building and why are we building it. And we want to give you guys opportunities to ask questions, but then we definitely want to bring in those industry experts to help you all be successful. That's definitely one of our core values here at Springboard is, yes, we want to provide you with the best software on the planet, but we also want to do whatever else we can to ensure that you guys are successful, that you're making money, that you're able to stay in business and be profitable and bring in those customers at low times or fill up your stations on the weekends, whatever it may be. There's tons of very knowledgeable people in this industry, and we want to give you all an opportunity to talk to those guys face to face. So anyway, just a quick recap. 2.0 will no longer be available August 1st. Please migrate. You have 7 days. The safety mode feature is now live, and it's being deployed to many of your stations as we speak. It's going to be a knowledge base article on that to give you more information. Scheduled downtime, July 29th. It'll just be about 2 hours. Hopefully no one is really operating at that time. It's a Monday. And then, next open huddle for the new prospective operators is August 15th. And the next veteran open huddle will be September 5th, and we'll have more information on who the guests are for those soon. So, and
I do really quickly want to mention one thing about that scheduled downtime. We will have safety mode out there, and so even if you are operating, you will fall back into safety mode, and it shouldn't disrupt your business at all.
Good point, Jamie. Thank you so much for that. So anyway, that was a short and sweet open huddle. Open to any questions that you all have about, our roadmap, what are we doing, any just common questions in the arcade, how to run an arcade, anything like that. We can take some time to answer your questions.
Yeah, so up at the top of Big Marker, there's this chat, there's Q&A. So generally we'll have the Q&A panel there. and then we'll answer anything inside of there. And Jordan, I noticed that there are a few polls here. I don't know when you want to maybe start these polls, but we can get that going as well.
Oh, I actually think these were from the last open huddle. They were never deleted.
So. Oh, no worries. Okay, cool. Well, here's our first question. Ted asks, is there an update on the multi-station bookings? For example, a single option for a customer to book 30 minutes of room scale and 30 minutes of a racing simulator. Yeah, so just to give you a bit of a history of why we didn't do that, we looked at so many booking systems, everything from ones that are VR specific that some of our clients have run. So MontVR has their own little booking system. We looked at that. We looked at Fandango. We looked at booking. We even looked at some bowling software because it kind of is weirdly analogous to to arcade, is this sort of have bowling lanes with different 5-pin or 10-pin. And the number one thing that we wanted to make sure we didn't do was lose people during the process because they didn't understand what was going on. And so we made a pretty conscious choice to have only a single experience because we didn't want to overload people who were first-time VR users, didn't understand exactly what they were getting into, don't know what a Vive is, don't know what an Oculus is. And so it was very, very intentional for us to say, okay, single experience. We want as few clicks, just say, this is what I want. This is the time I want it. How much money do I need to spend? And so it was really, really intentional to make sure there's a single experience option for bookings. Now, that being said, we understand that there are use cases and more advanced users and situations where you want to book fully through. We don't have it in the roadmap right now to do these multi-experience bookings. However, we do have some kind of big changes in the works for the way that stations and experiences kind of work within the panel. And so we'll definitely reevaluate that need in the future. Now, that being said, the thing that we really want to make sure that you can communicate is this stuff is possible through an admin. So if there is more specialty reservations going on, you can put on your website, put whatever, say, hey, call in, and an admin can make this booking, because we did make it so administrators or people using the monitor can actually do multi-experience bookings. So we just wanted to make sure that the client side was as easy as possible so that you didn't accidentally lose potential clients because they were confused by the process. And so maybe for more advanced bookings, you can kind of onboard people to say, hey, looking for more advanced stuff, maybe give us a call. We can do this over the phone. So that was sort of our solution. But I do want to reiterate just as much as possible that it is not uncommon for people to abandon a booking or reservation because of the complexity of the form. So we wanted to make sure that the complexity of that form was very low, and so that you got as many potential customers as possible signing in. We have a commercial license question. Yeah. Randy asks, are there any plans to get Marvel Powers United commercially licensed? Now, I don't know anything about this, but Jordan?
I will say, Randy, we, just as a blanket statement, Springboard is constantly evaluating content options on the market, and we're always having conversations with any and all content creators. So, if I could press a button and every single piece of content on the market would be made available on our platform, I actually would not press that button, because we're starting to get into a place where we're evaluating content. We have over 200 pieces of content on our platform now, and while that number seems great, it's actually, some of the content has never been downloaded, or it was played once, customers hated it, and they've never touched it again. And so we want to get into a place where we're actually looking at content and those sorts of things. But so I do believe, from what I understand, that the Marvel Powers is native to Oculus. So in that case, we cannot support it because of that. But if it weren't for that, I'd definitely say it'd be something we would pursue. Beat Saber, kind of, I just can't really share any information on that right now. As you know, that Beat Saber made an announcement to the LBE world saying that it's coming, and so that's all I know right now is kind of what they released in that article. So
it's also important, Chris shared in the chat in Big Marker, that any content requests, it really helps us. It helps us if you go to features.springboardvr.com. You'll see there that there is a sort of feedback there that says content requests, and you can see what are the most trending. But the number one thing that you can do is that you can also upvote posts, and that lets us know priorities. So if I go to that and it says showing trending posts, if I hit trending, I can see sort by top. And of course, the number one, 65 votes, is Beat Saber. And so that lets us know your prioritization, kind of what you guys are really pining for commercial licensing, and it lets us know where to, point our resources. All right. Any more questions? Pop those into the Q&A. Anything that comes to mind, I'd be more than happy to answer.
And if not, that's okay. We want these to be as much value to you as possible. If you have questions, great. If not, we can all get back to running arcades. And
Well, great. I think kind of last off here, I'll echo what I sort of just said. Features.springboardvr.com is sort of the hub if you kind of want to know the internal workings of Springboard. So on there, we have everything from feature requests to bugs to content that you guys want. But you can even see the roadmap. So if you go straight to the homepage at features.springboardvr.com, you can see the roadmap, things that are being planned, things that are actually in progress, and then things that are actually completed as well. So if you see something in the planned and in progress section, we like to say that's going to be within 30-ish days. And so 30-ish days. But at least you guys will see exactly what you can expect coming up. So for an example, one here says the volume control in the monitor. And so that's going to be coming very soon. We have that designed. It's in development right now. And soon you're going to be able to, I say soon, 30-ish days, we'll be able to change the volume from the monitor for the person experiencing VR in the headset. So that'll be really great. Although Mark Allen just put something in the chat here. Mark Allen says, overbooked time runs out. Is there an option to keep time for single users that want to return if they leave their session early? Okay, now Mark, I'm gonna see if I got this if I understand this correctly. So basically, you have a group that comes in, and then one person wants to leave and come back. That might be a situation where you just want to make a new reservation, make a new booking. There's no price on making bookings. You can make as many or as little as you want. They're very flexible. So if you do sort of want somebody to kind of leave and then come back, generally I would say best practice would be just to make a whole new booking inside of the monitor. Maybe I misunderstood. Okay, Saku says in the chat, other than the networking issues, I think we've been bug-free for a while. So keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much. I mean, we try really, really hard to make sure that this is as stable as possible, and that we're offering kind of the most premier location-based VR software that we possibly can. I mean, we use this software every single day, so we want it to be as good as possible. So.
Great, guys. Okay. Well, thanks so much for your time. Looking forward to the new format of open huddles. If you have any thoughts or feedback, or if you have any special guests that you want us to bring into these open huddles, any VR industry experts, or any specific topics that you want us to cover when we're interviewing kind of these industry experts or veteran arcade owners, please, please, please send us an email. Let us know who you want us to talk to, what questions you want us to ask, and those sorts of things. But we will have more information on that very soon. And as always, if you have any bugs, issues, questions, support@springboardvr.com. We really appreciate all you guys, and have a good rest of your day.
See you, everyone.